Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's been an incredible day.
The man himself. So for you, how'd you get a part of PLC, and what was the first steps for you to get in there with Scott and working with him?
Have you heard it? Have you heard my sort of entry into it? I know you've heard it about 10,000 times. Have you heard how I came involved?
A little bit.
Cool. Well, I actually came down from a bit of a different story from a traditional PT, but I came down for work experience. So I've had a massive passion for sports. I love sport, rugby league in particular. Anything, any type of sport, I love to just have a go at it and get involved with it. And I just had this mindset because I've seen my dad always work hard his entire life, like a million different businesses, and they all failed, but he's always been that person that really works hard. And actually turned me off actually working hard in a manual labour sense. I always work hard in general, but I just had a sense I don't want to do that. I want to do something that I love, and sport was it. And I sort of lost passion for sport as in professionally going for it. And I just started to say, let's get involved in the fitness industry. Let's become a PT. And I just started going out. I had my Cert 3 and 4. I did that through school, and I went in and applied at like Well Gym. Sorry to name them all, but F45, Jets, Snap, Anytime Fitness. Actually, I think that's where you were. And I just applied at all these gyms, and they all just kept knocking me back and said, "Look, you've got no experience. We don't want to have you." And I was like, "How the fuck do you get started? Like, how do you actually get in the industry?" And I actually gave up. So my career as a PT ended before it started. A month of trying, and I said, "Yes." I was 18. I was in year 12. I repeated year 12. That's a different topic. And I just wanted to learn. I've always had the mindset of always learning, always growing. You can always become a better person. So after I had given up before I started, I saw my friend because I repeated year 12. I was in a grade below me, and this girl that I didn't look up to very much, let's put it that way. She's like, I just got a job at the gym, and it kind of pissed me off a little bit, and I'm quite a competitive person. So I said, well, if she can fucking do it, I can do this thing too. So I just jumped on Gumtree, and I don't know where that came from. I never heard of people getting jobs off Gumtree, but I said, I bought shit off that before. Let's see if I can get a job off it. And I saw PLC Burleigh, never heard of it before, and I called the number, and it turned out to be Mr. Scott, which we know of. And I called it and said, hey mate, look, I actually don't want any money. I don't want you to pay me anything. I just want to come down and learn so I can get started. Can I come down and help out around the gym? And he said, yeah man, come on down, I'll meet you there. And I always say this version of it, but the first time I ever met him, he was running 15 minutes late, so that set the standard for Scotty from then on in. But he rocked up in a very nice car, very clean. It was obviously well presented if anyone knows him well. But it was just like his energy, just his vision of where he was going. Because when I rocked up, it was a room a little bit bigger than this office. There wasn't any equipment. There was no mats. We were training on the concrete, like what you can see outside. The only equipment they had was boxing gloves. There was one session a day, and there was between 2 to 5 people at the session. So we do like 5 sessions a day now, and we get like 20 plus people every session. So there was one session a day of 2 to 5 people. So it was really brand new, but he was just so convicted that he was going to change the world. And I come from a very average upbringing, and no one ever had that level of passion in anything that they did. So that really got me excited. And from my sports background, I've always looked for a coach to give me the answers that I'm looking for and give me the guidance and the pressure. So yeah, I just fell in love with his vision, and I've stuck around for coming up to 3.5 years now. It'll be 4 years in like June next year. I think it's about 4 years. So yeah, that's work experience. Gumtree. Thank you, Gumtree. That's how I got involved.
And so once you started getting involved with the gyms, what was your progression of growth, and where did that lead you to now?
The growth very much comes from the people that you're hanging around. So I started to really branch away from my friends. So I was still playing sport. I was still at high school. So I was like I was saying, I was so in love with this place. It still had the same energy and the culture and stuff at the time. But I would go to school. I would then have a game of sport afterwards, and then I would get back to school at 7:00. Before driving home to shower, I would drive to PLC because they did like Coach Academy back then. There was like leadership development and stuff like that. So I just got obsessed with hanging around Scott, who was the person in my life, my mentor in my life, as much as I could. And then we started doing like little courses online, like little $500 courses, learn how to get clients. Went to UPW for Tony Robbins, but I just got obsessed with personal development. I remember early on, I would stay up and watch like 3 hours of Tony Robbins straight on YouTube because I was just so obsessed with the language he would use, like how positive he was, and just like the words that he was using are just, you don't hear that from everyday people that I was just so used to having. So I got obsessed with personal development. You couldn't get me off it. I'd watch it for hours on end. So mine really was dependent on Scott at the time, and then like podcasts and YouTube videos and books, like audio books. That was really my source of growth at the time. And I went from someone who just came down for work experience. I became we had like junior coach, senior coach, we had all these stupid terms and things at the time. But it was very much a Herbalife gym. I think you guys know that. Obviously, you know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, my growth was very much YouTube, Scotty, starting to build my ranks up as a Herbalife distributor, not really a personal trainer. And then PLC made that big transition. Maybe it was like start this year. Hey.
No, it was like over 12 months ago now.
Yeah. So yeah, about over a year ago, we sort of got rid of the MLM completely and went more down the personal training gym.
Franchising.
Franchising route. So that was a big transition for me. It took me a while to understand that, but yeah, a lot of my growth initially was just literally learning how to get sales. I didn't know what leads were, I didn't know what clients was, I didn't know how to sell. I loved what I did, and that's what helped me. But yeah, I had like the first 12 months for me, I got really little results, but just a lot of learning, just like fucked up heaps, made heaps of mistakes, learned how to generate leads on social media. I remember our first lead gen, we walked around Burleigh Beach on the boardwalk and handed out flyers to people as they walked past, and they all threw it away, and half of them said no to it. But now, like with a couple of videos and a couple of things on social media, you can just generate leads on tap. And I know you guys have both experienced that. So yeah, the first 12 months for me, just learn a shitload, because I had no clue about business, no clue about personal training, no clue about leads or anything. So I was just a sponge ready to learn. So.
And for you, starting off, you got experience, and then you were able to build your way up, and now you're an owner of 3 clubs. Two clubs. Going to be 3?
Yeah, it's something happened with the third one, the investment. The person just didn't turn out to be the right fit. But sorry, what was your question?
Well, for that progression, because there's a lot of trainers out there to have their own club. Like that's like a very long-term goal, and it's something that they dream about doing. And that progression for you, what do you think's been the key steps to learn, develop, and be able to get that end goal?
I've sort of mentioned it already, but it's just that environment of like people who want to see you succeed. Because I can't really relate a lot to trainers, because I haven't been down that road of being in a gym where you're paying rent and you're doing it solo. But I see my friends doing it. I see family members doing the whole solo business owner. And you just Nicole, how I met you. When I met Nicole, like she was that exact person who now I get the privilege of working with and finding more people to work with. Where you're on your own. You've got no one helping you. Like I do my absolute best to not take it for granted, because I've been given an environment and a system and the support where people like dream about the shit that I was exposed to so early. Like you guys were...
Because how old are you, for everyone listening?
I'm 21, and for yourself you're 22, but like you started at 17, and I know you went through all the bullshit that I went through, but I had so much support, and you were solo, so I couldn't even imagine, and I'm sure you went through something similar, like learning what the hell a lead was, how to generate a lead, how to make a sale, how to retain clients. Yes, I had to take the action, which I always do, but I didn't have, I had someone supporting me in the environment, so I was sort of in a safer environment to do it. So the key for me to go from, to own the two gyms at 21 was obviously the action. I work my ass off every single day, weekends included, but I'm from my sports background, I always believe you've got to have a coach. If you're doing it solo, like a quote that actually Dion, who was here earlier, he's not the one that said it, but I just remember because he mentioned it one time. But if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So if you want to have, because you might be a great PT, but you might be limited with your time and your resources right now. If you get a coach, if you get a business partner, if you get someone who can actually help you with the things that you're maybe missing out on, like going down and investing into a Tony Robbins course or a Kerwin Ray course, like the growth and the environment and the knowledge just allows you to level up and up and up and up. So I think the answer that I'm sort of saying is I've just always had a coach to go to. It was Scott for many years, and he still very much does help me out as a business partner. But now having Kerwin Ray and having that whole herd of people helping you at any option, like I call you guys. I don't call you too much. Actually, I'll start calling you now. But I call Nicole, I call Dion, I call Durant, I call Peter from Townsville, I call heaps of people just to feed on their brain, because I'm just so obsessed with learning and growing that I know people have the answers, that I don't have to take so long to figure it out by being an egomaniac and thinking I can figure it out, which I've done before as well. But yeah, just reach out, just fucking reach out. Like I don't believe you have to do it by yourself. There's someone there to help you, and sometimes you're gonna pay for it. But yeah, that's kind of been my whole philosophy, my whole life.
I love that.
Yeah, called you a couple times.
Yes, nearly every day.
Yeah, every second day.
We love our chats, and so like learning, like looking at the industry now, how you look at it. If there was a PT that was in in a gym, not really like knowing what they want to do next, like loving PT, loving helping people, but they feel a little bit capped with their growth.
Yep.
What's some recommendations that you'd have for that person?
Drop your ego. Like I know that's, and maybe that hit your ego just then, but like literally have a look at yourself. Like I see people that they start a business, whether that be a PT business or just something online. You make an ABM, which is free and takes you 10 minutes, and then you're suddenly a CEO at a company on your Instagram. And I have the same. I have owner of PLC Burleigh, whatever. But I'm saying like maybe check into your ego and be like, okay, well, are you really doing that great? Yeah, you're taking home a couple $1,000s a week, but you've got no time to actually hang out with your family. If you get hit by, I don't like using that, say you do a deadlift tomorrow and you pull your back and you can't walk, what's going to happen to your clients? What's going to happen to your income? What's going to happen to your whole life? So for me, it's drop your ego and like really understand that, yeah, you might be doing great compared to maybe your friend who's working at Coles, but like on the scheme of things of your full potential, are you actually hitting that? Or are you just sort of doing your own thing and staying in your own lane where you can see people who maybe you're not reaching out to, you're not messaging, or you're not asking for help because again you think you know everything. That's the complete opposite of me, and that sort of personality really deters me, and that's what really stops me from bringing on certain personalities into my business. But yeah, like reach out, like drop your ego, and like worst case scenario, like just ask for an opinion, ask for a question, say. And people who are doing well, from what I've seen, they want to help you out because they were in the bat position too. It's the only reason that someone that you look up to, whether that be an athlete or a business owner, the only way they got to where they got to is help from someone else. If you ever watch like a movie, or like what do they call the Oscars or anything like that? They give awards. Like what's when they get their trophy? What's the first thing they do?
They thank someone.
They thank all their support, all their coaches, all their mentors, all the people that got them to where they are. Because like that quote I said before, you can only go far if you're with a team, if you're in a herd, if you've got people. Because man, it's a dark road. And again, I'm saying this from other people's experience because I'm grateful enough not to have gone down that. I kind of shortcutted my way to where I am now. But like someone like yourself, 6 years of doing that, I couldn't imagine how lonely that would have gotten and how many times you would have thought about throwing in the towel. Because I did that, and I was in the environment that I'm in. Like credit to you to doing what you've done. So yeah, for me, just reach out, lower your ego, not to a point that you're worse than anyone, but you're wanting to learn, you want to become a student again. You're not, just because you're doing 50 sessions a week and you're making $2,000 a week, like you're not that, I'm trying to say it in a nice way, but like you can do more.
Yeah.
You can do more, but you can only get there by reaching out.
And I think that's really important as well, because you're saying like you had it at such a young age, and you had the support there, you had the systems there, you were able to build your way up that way, and you're like super grateful to be in the position that you are, and then that you feel sorry for the people that are slugging it out, and it's just like there's people out there that are wishing that they had what you have, but they're not making that step to actually go out there and make that change. Yeah,
like you just took the words out of my mouth. Like I think because I've been given it so well, I sometimes forget like fuck, people really go through the ringer trying to, and they're doing the right thing. They wanted to change people's lives. Like that's such an incredible thing to do. But yeah, like it's you're one question away, you're one conference away, you're one course away, you're one podcast away from a light switch going off, and you just go to a whole new level. You make a decision to start your own business and not just go down the path of trying to figure it out, because we know 1.7% of people make this game. So if you're with people who can give you the system, who can give you the support, who can give you the tools that took them years to figure it out, you just save yourself, or you increase the chances and probability of you succeeding, because yeah, it's a very lonely road from what I can see anyway. So yeah.
100%.
That's good.
And next 5 to 10 years, what does Lewis Huckstep's life look like?
5 to 10 years. That's exciting. I showed this photo the other day, but for at home and anyone that hears this, Google Warren Buffett's net worth. I showed you guys on the call the other day, and it's just going to Warren Buffett net worth, and you'll just see it'll be like a graph, and if you can see it, it's like a sliding scale, and it gets really big. But you can just see like in his early days, the first like 10, even 10, 15 years, he was only earning a couple 10, 20, $30,000 a year. But now like into his like 80
just
or whatever
like
it is now.
Right up.
Like quadruple, like his income like skyrocketed. So anyway, compounded interest is what I'm getting at, or geometric growth. So for me, I just feel like I'm still warming up. I'm still learning more. I'm learning a lot more about the delegation, the systems, the leadership now, rather than how to get a lead and how to sell someone. But for me, for the next 5 to 10 years, I will be an investment or a part of 50 PLCs. To shed the love and just give people that again that I'm grateful for receiving earlier, but save them before it's too late. Because if they're not given this, like I could only picture how many like the amount of PTs that are out there that are just struggling or just getting by, that have a second, like the people I talk to, they have a second job to pay the rent of the gym. Like they stock shelves overnight or something at Woolies or something. Like we've got there's someone in the room that was doing that. So it's
well, like you said, throwing the towel.
Just say fuck it.
Yeah.
So for me to give this opportunity that I'm so fucking grateful and blessed to be given, to give them that opportunity to actually help more people, have more of a lifestyle, and do what they love forever instead of having to go back and get a job as a labourer, get a job at a store that they don't love, and actually stay in what they love, but you're maybe not having the results that you're wanting because you haven't been given the answers of how to do it. So yeah, that's what I'm really set on doing. That I've got an incredible business partner to do that with. So we're just going to go out and just give trainers the freedom that I'm grateful enough to be experiencing now.
100%. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, team.
Hey.
Nicole and Matt, or was it Matt Nicole?
Matt and Nicole.
Matt and Nicole. There we go. Start with the looks, eh? Hey.